Well, now we are talking of classification of vector. Classification of vectors. That means I'm going to discuss with you about the type of vector. The first two is very important. Be very careful of this. The first two, some maximum time they are asked in the examinations. First is a polar vector. What is polar vector? The vector which has a starting point is called as a polar vector. Say displacement. So displacement is from here to here. So it has a starting point. Is it? So this vector will be called as a polar vector. So what is polar vector? The vector which have a starting point or the point of application is called as a displacement vector. But if I take a velocity,
Polar vector.
if I take a velocity, there is no need of for showing the velocity. It's not needed that you must start from the starting point. Anywhere you will in the path you mention this. So velocity is not a polar vector. So I repeat again, a polar vectors are those vectors which have a starting point, or the point of applications are called as a polar vector. For example, displacement, force, those are polar vectors. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, you might have heard in your junior classes about the torque, moment of force, couple. Have you heard of these words?
Yes, sir.
Yes. You have heard of the moment of force? The vector which represent the rotational effect. So torque means rotational analog of the
Yes, sir.
force. So the vector which represent the rotational effect and act along the axis of rotation in accordance to the right hand screw rule is called as a axial vector. So what is that? Axial vectors are those vectors which represent the rotational effect, about the axis of rotation. I'm telling only this much. So axial vectors are those vectors which represent the rotational effect, about the axis of rotation. For example, angular velocity, angular momentum, torque, these are the axial vectors. But these two
So what is
are
angular velocity?
angular velocity. You see, suppose you are moving on a circular track. Initially you are here. After some time you are here. So you are sustaining certain angle at
Okay.
the center. This is called as the
Yes,
angular
yes.
displacement. And this angular
Okay, sir.
displacement divided by the time will give you angular velocity. Angular change in the angle where at the center. Is it clear?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
If no, say no. No problem.
No, sir. It's clear.
Okay. So first two is very important. The next one you have, if you will understand only, that will work out. But first two you have to mug up little bit. Is it? The next I am coming to equal vectors. Equal. What do you mean by equal? Equal means equal in all aspects. In all respect. Say this is A vector. This is B vector. So A vector is equal to B vector if they have the same magnitude and same
Direction.
direction. Is it clear? It's not only about the two, it may be 3, 4. Is it 2 or more vectors are said to be equal vectors if they have the same magnitude and same direction. What's the angle between them? What will be the angle between them? 0 degree?
Yes.
Well, Anisha, if you want to ask anything, please ask.
No, sir.
I'm crystal clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now come a negative vector. No, just wait. Before going to negative vector, let me discuss some more. Just a second. Yes. Let me discuss about the parallel vectors. Parallel vectors. What does this word implies to you? The two or more vectors are said to be parallel vectors if they are directed in the same direction. If they are directed in the same direction,
Same.
irrespective of the magnitude, irrespective of magnitudes. What does it mean? It means that the magnitude of the two vector may be equal or may not be equal. Isn't it? Yes, you are getting parallel. You are getting information about the direction, but there is no information about the magnitude. So A and B may be equal, may not be equal. So I have written irrespective of the magnitude, and the angle between them is 0 degree. Is it clear?
Okay, sir. Yes.
So there exists a note, all equal vectors are parallel vectors. Yes, but all parallel vectors are not equal. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Definitely. There can be a question. All equal vectors are parallel vector, but all parallel vectors, sorry, but what I have written, but all parallel
Parallel
vectors
vector.
are not equal. Justify. Then you have to explain it. Will you be able to explain it?
So, like by giving the definitions.
Yes, by giving the definition both with the exam with the drawing.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, that's the parallel vector. There are some more. You might be thinking how many. There are some anti-parallel vectors. Now you tell me what information you are getting from this word anti-parallel vectors. Two or more vectors are said to be anti-parallel if they are directed
When
in the opposite
opposite
direction,
direction, like not in the same
irrespective of the
direction.
magnitude, and the angle between
Yes.
them is 180 degree.
180 degrees.
Please take a screenshot. Keep on taking the screenshots. Taken.
Yes, sir.
Now comes co-initial vectors. Co-initial vectors. What do you mean by co-initial vector? What does the word co stands for? Co means same. Initial means starting point, isn't it? So you see here, there is no information about the direction or the magnitude. What you will call these vectors? Can you call them to the co-initial vectors?
Yes, sir.
Because they are originating, they are all from
From the
the
same point.
same point. So two or more vectors are said to be the co-initial vectors if they originate from the same point, irrespective of the magnitude and the direction. There's no information about the magnitude and the direction here. Is it clear? Yes? There is one
Yes,
more
sir.
word for this. That is concurrent. Take a screenshot.
Yes, sir. Taken.
Okay. This is over. You see the concurrent. The next one is coplanar. Now this time you have to help me out. What do you mean by the coplanar? Coplanar vectors. Two or more vectors are said to be coplanar if they lie on the same
Same plane.
plane. So if I give you a say what I'm writing, same plane. If I give you a chalk and I ask you to draw three vectors, suppose you have drawn A vector and B vector on a roof. Yes, on a roof,
Okay.
and not roof, make it floor, on a floor, and one vector on the wall. So the first two are on the same plane. I can call them to be the coplanar, and there is no information
Yes.
about the magnitude and direction. But the third one is lying the different plane, so it's not coplanar with the other two.
Okay.
Is it? So that's
Yes,
done.
sir. Clear.
Next is the very important one, null vector. Null vector. A vector is said to be a null vector. A vector is said to be a null vector, said to be a null vector if its magnitude is 0. Okay, it is represented by 5 vector. Clear, Anvesha?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
Then, madam, you answer me back. What is the definition of a vector? Vector quantities are those quantities which has a magnitude and direction. But here you are saying
Both.
the magnitude is 0. Then how you are calling it to be a vector? Isn't it a confusing question?
Yes.
Why you have
So
not asked me? Now you tell me. Now you are caught. No.
no, sir. Like it is null vector, so I thought that with
No.
magnitude can
You
be.
should ask. See here, please. If I have a vector minus a vector, if a vector minus vector or there is addition or subtraction of the vector, the resultant is also a vector. So when in this case, what will be the magnitude? The magnitude will 0, but the vector property will be maintained. In that case, it will be represented by, sorry, in that case, it is represented by null vector or 5 vector. Let us take another example to explain this situation. Suppose you have started from this point, you moved around on a circular track, or you moved around and returned back to the same position. What is your net displacement?
0
0. But displacement is a vector quantity. In that case, the displacement
becomes a null vector.
meant is null vector. Please make a habit of asking. Done?
Yes, sir.
Now you see, I'm coming to unit. Okay, no, before that, let me talk of the negative vector. Negative vector. A vector is said to be a negative vector of the given vector. There are not two vectors, it's a one vector only. A vector is said to be a negative vector if its direction is reversed. If its direction is reversed. Suppose this is a vector. And if I reverse its direction, then it will become minus a vector. Is it clear? That means it will introduce, it will, it will introduce an extra phase introduce an extra phase difference of 180 degree. I will explain you. First take a screenshot of this. Taken.
So then, what is the difference between negative vector and parallel anti-parallel vector?
They can also be termed as anti-parallel to one another. But
Okay.
if if I have a vector, you see this, and if I reverse its direction through 180-degree, then it will be a
Okay.
negative vector. It's
Negative
the same
vector.
vector,
Okay.
but due to some reason its direction has been reversed. You might be thinking why I will reverse. Yes, I will come to know about it. Just wait and watch. May I raise this?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, still we are in a negative vector, okay? You see, this is A vector. Please be very careful. And this is your B vector. What is the angle between them? Theta.
Theta.
If I take a minus B vector, let me change the color of the ink. Where I am lost. Just a second. So if I take a minus B vector, then I have to draw it here. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So now what is the angle? 180-degree. Theta plus 180-degree or 180-degree plus theta? Yes, I've
Yes.
written this way to show you that extra phase has been introduced. Otherwise, I could have written 180 plus theta. Is it clear
Yes, sir.
that how that word is matching that it introduced the extra phase difference of 180-degree? It may be plus or it may be minus also. Okay,
Sir, can you repeat this point once? Like,
it may be plus also, it may be minus also. You see this case. This is A vector, this is B vector. And if I take a minus A vector, this angle was 30, theta. This is minus A vector. What this angle will be?
okay, understood. 180 degree minus theta.
That means it create an extra phase difference of 180-degree.
180 degree. Okay.
With respect to 180-degree, the changes comes. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now I'm coming to unit vector. It is very, very, very important again from the examination view. That's a unit vector. What is unit vector and how to find the unit vector? Then you will solve numerical of the unit vector with IJK. So now unit vector. A vector is said to be a unit vector if its magnitude is 1. Yes, yes, unit vector has a magnitude 1, and
Okay.
and what is the thing left behind there? The direction. It solely represent direction. Okay, let us see. If you have a vector, so how you are writing the total vector? Can you write it in this way?
Yes, sir.
This is representing the direction. How you will write a
Direct.
cap? You will write a cap as a vector by mod A. Yes, Anvesha.
Yes, sir.
What is there in this A vector? What is the
Magnitude plus.
magnitude and direction? But you are dividing with the magnitude. So magnitude by magnitude will become,
Yes. Then only direction. Okay.
the magnitude will by magnitude will become 1 or 0.
1.
1. But direction remains same. So are you getting
Same.
this? The magnitude is 1 and direction is intact. So this is a unit vector. This can also be called as a unit vector. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, please, I'm discussing the thing mentioned in the box. Please see it carefully. This is, say, the axes. I have not drawn properly. You will draw it properly. This is x-axis, this is y-axis, and this is z-axis. The direction Along the x-axis will be represented by I cap. So it's a unit vector representing the direction along the x-axis. If I write a j cap, it's a unit vector representing the direction along the y-axis. And if I write down a k cap, it's a unit vector along the z-axis. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Am I clear? Yes. Now the angle between the vectors. Angle between vectors. What will be the angle? You see, this is a vector and this is your b vector. The angle is this theta. If you come across something like this is a vector and this is your b vector, then the angle is not, this one is not the angle. You think that you're riding a motorbike, you're coming in this way and then you're making a turn in this way. So the angle between A and B will be this in this case. Please take a screenshot. I think this is not visible. Now see, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Just a second.